Hi, and welcome to Art Inspiration with VKH. I'm Veronica, the V in the VKH. I have been an amateur artist for 4 years, the last 2 years focusing on watercolor. And I have been a teacher and I work in education for the last 24 years. So I love teaching and I love art. So welcome to my channel and welcome to Art with me. Okay, so in today's video, we are again looking at the sky and what we're going to do with the sky. In my last video, we did a summer sky over the ocean. We're going to follow the same format, but we're going to do a winter sky over the ocean. This isn't what we're painting, but I wanted you to see in the winter time, our colors are just different. So this sky is a light blue with lots of clouds. And then the land has like almost a bluish purpley pinky tint to it. So we might pull out some of these colors. Okay, I got my paper prepped. I've got my 1-inch border. This is a 9x12 piece of paper cut in half. I've got my clean water and my dirty water and my pencil, and we are ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my horizon line. And then we're going to do the sweep of the land. We did the same sort of thing last week, where we just swept the land over like that. So you need a straight line and then you need an arc. And then here we go, we're ready to start. What I've done is I have activated a number of colors. I've activated some different light blues. There's a light blue over here, a couple different kinds of light blue, some light teals, some turquoise, and I also did a peachy brown for the sand. I've also got a peach activated over here, and I have a cerulean blue over here, which is basically a purpley blue. I've got a little purple here, a little blue gray here. I've got some more gray over there because we're going to play around with some colors. So we're going to do wet on wet. I have an extra paper towel that I'm recycling just in case I need to make some clouds. So we're going to do wet on wet. So to do that, if this is your first time, you have clean water and you're going to dip your paintbrush into it and you're going to paint it on the paper. You don't want any puddles, and I just paint it across. And you kind of have to work a little fast because the water does dry pretty quick on this paper. This is watercolor paper. And I just brush it on and I can see that there's a beautiful shine, but there's no puddles. I go down to that line. That line is my horizon line. And now I am ready to start painting. So I'm going to take, for this, I want to do lots of bright blues, but then I might mute them a little bit later because in the winter, the sky can look very blue and bold because there's not a lot of haze in the winter. Oh, look, it's drying out already. Goodness. So you might get some really good vibrant blues in the winter in your sky. And if it does that, what it just did, it kind of dried out so fast. Great, just add some more water to it, reactivate it, and you can spread it out just like that. Spread it out. Awesome. And then what I might do is change it to this turquoisey blue. Add some turquoisey blue in there as well. And also come over here to my super light blue over here. Mix that in as well. And then while it's still there, I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to do some clouds. And I'm just going to take the paper towel and just go whoosh, turn it. Or you can dab it like this. Like that, and then we can just let it go and see how it does. The only thing I would say is that normally in a sky, it's normally a lot darker at the top, so I might go back in here and this time I'm dabbing it with the tip of my brush just around the clouds because I know we're going to get pockets of different darker colors. And then maybe I go back to this light blue. Actually, I'm going to do the lightest one I have in my watercolor 2 paints here, and then I have my cake watercolor set over there. I might just go back and add, oh yeah, there we go, a lighter blue at the bottom, and then I get some good variations. This is kind of what we did last week in episode 11. And I go under the cloud, under the cloud, under the cloud, under the cloud. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and see what happens, see what it does. Now, in the meantime, while that dries, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to address the, oh, you know what I forgot? I'm going to need some, oh no, I don't need green for this because it's not the summer. Remember, this is winter sky. I was thinking I was going to need green for grass. I don't. I'm so silly. Okay, so let's come down here and do the ocean. Now, the ocean in the winter, I'm going to say is more of a gray blue. So I'm going to have to think about this. I do have a gray activated, which is right here. Let me show you. It's very dark. And I'm going to switch my brush. I'm going to switch it to my angled brush that looks like that. It has a nice angle to it. Activate that with some water and then come back here. And you could do this wet on dry. So this up here was wet on wet. The paper was wet. The paint was wet. This here, the paper is dry and we're adding wet paint to it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer gray and then I'm going to layer blue. Gray and blue don't necessarily always mix the best, but you know what? Let's see what happens. What about this gray blue that I made earlier? And I'm just going to go up to that horizon line and draw a line, or paint a line, I should say. And I'm going to go over to it like this. And this time I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take a paper towel and I want to do some, I'm just like do like waves. So I'm pulling it whoosh, like that. And I'm going to have to do some layering, I think, to get the right effect of a color that I want for that. And that's totally okay too. Okay, so now for the land, since it's going to be winter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a light purpley over here for the snowy white color. So I'm going to just go on the edge and paint down and paint it a purple. It's like just a really light purple. And I'm leaving enough room, done it like in an arc. And there's a white space here, and that's going to be our sand. So now I take this peachy brown, I fill that in. Okay. Now, if you've been with me and with my other videos, we always have a blow dryer handy to blow dry so that we can dry it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to turn on my blow dryer lowest speed, have it be a little bit further away, and I'm going to blow dry it till it's dry, and then we'll come back. Okay, so to continue on, I know it's dry because when I touch it, it is not wet and it is also not cold to the touch. That's super important. Okay, so now I can see that I've got some lines here that I'll have to address, and that's fine. I also have a lot of kind of, I don't even know what you want to call these, like little splotches, which I don't love, but that's okay because I can fix it. So I'm going to actually now, I've got some gray. I'm not going to add any more gray to the water, but I do want to add some gray to the cloud because I want the sky to mirror or I'm sorry, the ocean to mirror the sky. So I'm just going to add some gray up in here, and also might take away a smidge of the splotchiness. And I'm just dabbing, dab with my brush. Dab. You could also swirl it like this because that's what cloud shapes are, or swirls. It'll get rid of some of the sharper lines. I'm going to actually go over here and get some of my dark gray and try to blend, see if I can see what I can do to blend some of that in there too. And I'm just swirling it with my brush. If I need to get some more water, adding some more water. Okay, now I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and now I'm going to try, let's try this brush right here. And I'm going to do some more sweeps with my water, but now I do want to add some more blue back into the water because it is a little bit too gray for my liking. You could use turquoise, you could use blue, whatever you like. Let's try some turquoise. And I'm just making some, can you see what they look like? They just look like almost like flower petals. Just adding that in there on top of the gray. Let's try some of that lighter one. Make sure I got it all the way up there. And then I'm just pulling the clean water, pulling it. Do you see how I'm pulling it? Pulling it across. Let's mix it in with a little bit of cerulean blue. Again, pull it down. I put a little bit more turquoise in there. It's a very wavy, this is a super wavy ocean. In the back corner should be the darkest, and then it should come forward a little bit later. The horizon line should be a little bit darker. I'm going to add a little turquoise in there. You can still see some of my gray undertones, but we've pulled some of it away. And again, I'm just making, sweeping. When I would teach 5th grade, if we were moving decimals or something, I'd go. And so, you know what? It's the same thing with painting. You pull it. Awesome. I like it. It's really cool. It's really pretty. Okay, now what are we going to do to the land to make it look a little bit more landy? I think we could probably go back in here and do a little bit of a gray or brown. I'm going to do gray. Go back to that gray. All right, I'm going to get a thinner brush. I'm going to get this tipped brush. Can you see it? And activate it with water. Dip it into my gray, because what I want to do is I need for there to be like a separation between the beach and the land, almost like there's a cliff. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm just pulling down. Pull down. Needs more water. Just a touch. Pull. And it can become thicker down here on the bottom. Some more gray, because objects are closer in the front. I almost said objects are closer than they appear, but that's your rearview mirror. No. In a painting, objects in the front are closer. So you could have this be a lot bigger. And then that just gives your eye a little bit more perspective. And I do need some more. I think I need more of the peachy brown for the beach. That needs to be darker. So let's come here. And again, I'm just putting it on and pulling down, pulling towards myself. Okay, and normally when I paint, I would not have such a shoreline be so dark or the horizon line be so dark, but I do that in here so that you can see the lines, because if I do them too light, it's really hard to see on the video. Okay, and then I think we need to do something with the land. I'm going to do something a little bit different that I normally don't do. Okay, this is my white Cotman watercolor tube of paint. I do have a cake of white over here, but it's not the best. This is way better. I'm going to do something a little unusual, and I'm going to take this, and you can see how it kind of splurts out of your tube. Okay, so let's find a place over here to put it. I'm going to put it right there in the center, and then I'm going to close this bad boy up, although you could work directly out of here if you wanted to. And I'm going to come right on here, and I'm just going to do some swirls. I don't know if they'll show up. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that in the sky. I'm going to go back up here. Nope, I need some more. Got to add some water to activate it. White's a funny thing. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. That's what I wanted it to do. White will blend other items, which is really nice, which is what you want. Let's go back up and do some more of that in the sky. But I hate to take all my white, but white's a commodity. Like it's good to invest in some whites because it will, make your painting, give it some more depth, change your color, lighten things up. Because I think my sky is looking a little dark. Maybe a little too gray, which is why you can the cool thing about watercolors, you can go back over it, just not a ton of times because the paper will start to rip because it is wet. So you got to just be a little mindful of that. Okay. And then I think what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more purple to that white. Maybe that's too much. And again, I'm just going to swirl it. I'm just going to swirl it a little bit. Maybe add some more of that white on top. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm seeing an area over here that I need to fix. Do need to fix the horizon. I am going to bring it all the way to the sand. And then I'm going to add a little depth by adding a little bit of brown to where this rock and the sand meet, just for a little bit more dimension. Again, I'm just pulling it towards me, just applying it and then pulling it, and maybe I'll just splotch it. Okay, it's a lot stormier looking colors, a lot like intense super colors. And so you kind of just have to play around with it till you get what the effect is that you're looking for. Let's dry it a little bit and see what happens. Okay, I feel like I need to do just a few more things to add a little bit of depth to it. Number one, I need to make this back corner be, again, we talked about this earlier, I need to make that darker. And so we're going to do that. I need to make the horizon line darker. Yep, okay. Maybe we'll make this front corner be a little bit darker. Add a little bit more turquoise right there. Okay, I'm going to make this top corner be, go back up to my clouds because now I need to highlight them again. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit more, pull this down just a smidge. Let's add a little bit more. Really want it to be darker on that line. Okay, much better. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to add some more darker purple along here. Because again, it's far away. Okay, let me just pull it. towel. Nice. Okay, there we go.